Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and much appreciated you guys joining me for today's episode. And guys, we have a really good video for you guys today, information packed video that's going to help you guys out this fall. We're going to have a full topwater fall fishing seminar today. I'm going to go over, I've got about 7 or 8 of my favorite topwater lures that I like to use in the fall time of the year coming up. Really like, late summer, early fall, and end of fall. I'm going to go over each one of these, and I'm going to really describe the situations and the conditions it works the best in, because each one of these has a window of time during the fall that it works good based upon your water temperature, time of day, water clarity, and that type of deal. And who doesn't love topwater fishing? So we're going to break this down and get you guys some good info in today's episode here. Also, guys, before we get started, just 2 quick things I'd like to remind you of. If you hadn't had a chance, speaking of fall fishing, please swing by and check out my Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns that I built for fishthemoment.com. We got the fall maps up ready to go right now. These are great resources to learn more about your favorite lake for the fall time of the year. Gives you 40 GPS waypoints you can go straight to with tips and advice on how to fish each spot, and shows you how to duplicate them around the lake and just some good overview of the lake. So I'll put the Fish the Moment lake map breakdown of my maps in the link in the description. And also, guys, please check out the Independence Day sale on my Solar Bat Series sunglasses. Now through Independence Day, you can get a pair right now, 30% off, and also a free hard case from Solar Bat with any purchase of my glasses. And finally, if you use the promo code RandyB with a capital R, capital B, free shipping and handling. So I'll put all those links in the description of the video. Appreciate that. Okay, topwater fishing to me is the best in the fall time of the year. When you talk about topwater fishing, you're pretty much talking about any time the water temperature is above 55 degrees. That's when it's going to work the best. I mean, I'm not saying you can't get a bite when it's below 55, but it really slows down. So anytime from the water temperature gets above 55 in early spring up until early winter, you got a potential topwater bite. But in my experience, you've got a couple different windows of topwater fishing throughout the course of the year. You've got the springtime of the year, like there's a good buzzbait bite early spring. There's some, different type of, chugger bites and stuff, buzzbait bites, in the post spawn. But for me, excuse me, the real meat and potatoes of topwater fishing, especially for the quality bigger fish, is the fall time of the year. Now, when I talk about fall, I'm talking about September through December. September, I sort of consider that early fall. And December, based upon, your water temperatures and everything like that, you can have a good topwater bite into December, depending upon what part of the country you live in here, as long as that water's over 55. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is I've got 7 of my favorite topwater lures for fall fishing. I'm going to go through each one of them, sort of like based upon the time of the fall I like to fish them, and sort of give you guys some tips and advice on how to fish those. Okay, my first one, guys, is a frog. Now, this is going to be for early fall, late summer, early fall, sort of like we're in right now. This is the Megabass Big Gabot frog. And also, guys, I'm going to link every one of these baits in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of the video. So if you guys would like to pick up a couple of these topwaters I'm talking about, if you use that link, it's a good way to help the channel and get you some baits too. But Megabass Big Gabot frog, early summer, late summer, early fall, this is a really good bait when that water temperature is still pretty warm in the fall time of the year. So when I fish a frog in the fall time of the year, I'm thinking in terms of the water temperature has not quite started to drop, maybe just a degree or so like that, but when the water's still warm. The only exception to this, it would be if the water is cooling off, like towards the mid part of the fall, and you have some type of aquatic matted vegetation. Sometimes the bite can last longer. But my favorite time to fish a frog is like September and August and September. And when I fish a frog, since I'm from the Ozarks here, we don't have vegetation in our lakes, I'm fishing this thing around shallow, shady areas. So one of my favorite ways to catch them, if you do not have matted vegetation in the lake, is get back into those shallow, flat coves, the flatter banks, and take this frog, guys, and fish it around any shade. Skip it up underneath the boat dock shade, throw it under an overhanging tree that's got some shade, throw it down a bank that's got some sun creating some shade on it, throw it right to the bank. I'm talking about hit the rocks with the bank on this thing and just work it, just you know, like you would a walking topwater, you know, just in those shady areas. Really good way to catch them. And of course, everybody knows about fishing a frog over aquatic vegetation, lily pads, hydrilla, milfoil, you know, that duckweed, whatever you may have. Really good bait for that. Okay, the next bait, when I'm talking in terms of the progression of topwater lures, is going to be a Whopper Plopper. Now, you've heard me dogging the Whopper Plopper a lot the last couple of years because so many people fish this thing. It's not near as effective as what it used to be, but it still works when you have the right conditions. And that's what happens on a lure like the Whopper Plopper, is when you have a bait that gets really hot, that has normally in the past worked in a wide range of conditions, as the bass get more conditioned to a bait like a Whopper Plopper, which is a telegraphing bait. I mean, it's got a very unique sound. Bass can get conditioned to it real good. They start to have smaller windows of time during the year that they work. A Whopper Plopper is an excellent September topwater lure. It's probably my favorite topwater for the month of September. And the thing with the Whopper Plopper, guys, it's all about just covering water with it. And my favorite scenario for a Whopper Plopper is a lake that has some pretty clean water in it. I like a lake to have, personally, I like a lake for my Whopper Plopper fishing to have at least 2.5 foot of visibility and on upwards to 5 or 6 foot of clarity. And I just take the Whopper Plopper, guys, and literally I just put the trolling motor down and go and fish everything. I'll fish a main lake bluff bank with it. I'll fish a point with it. I'll go in the back of a cove and fish it. I'll throw it down a riprap bank. It's about making the maximum number of casts and generating a reaction strike with this thing. This is a reaction strike lure. So when I'm fishing the Whopper Plopper in September, when the water's still pretty warm, I'm using a pretty fast stop and go retrieve. So what I'll do is I'll make my cast with it out there. I'll point the rod tip straight to the bait and I'll reel it fast like that. Stop and go, stop and go. One of the keys on a Whopper Plopper is you don't want it to go blah, 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 blah. You want it to go blah, 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 like that. You know, you want the bait to move fast and erratic, especially if the water's clear. That's gonna make a big difference. So put this thing, I usually fish it on a flipping stick with 20-pound test Seaguar and Vizex line. Oh yeah, I'll talk a little bit about the equipment. Frog fishing is gonna be 30-pound braid, you know, medium heavy 7-foot rod. Whopper Plopper is gonna be a flipping stick, 25-pound test Seaguar and Vizex, and just put the trolling motor down and go, man. That's the best way to get into it. Okay, so September, we got that going on. The next bait we're gonna talk about, good September, early October bait, guys, is a popper. This is the Megabass Pop Max Chugger Topwater. A chugger, guys, I'll give you one piece of advice for a chugger in the fall time of the year, is take a chugger like the Pop Max here and fish it on riprap. It's so easy to do. All you have to do is get out there early in the morning where there's some shade on the bank and take the popper, get out there and fish those shady sides of the riprap bank right off the bat in the morning. It usually lasts up until about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, depending upon when the shade leaves that bank. But as long as you have shade on a riprap and you're in the month of September, guys, those good fish will hammer a popper on the riprap. It can be a bridge riprap, it can be a dam riprap, it can be a riprap between boat docks, any type of riprap you got. That is my deal with a popper, is fishing riprap on it. Works good on about any lake of the country as long as you got water visibility over about 1.5 foot or so. Popper really good. And most of the time on the popper, guys, I'm fishing it on like, say 14-pound test, monofilament line, some type of a medium action, 6.5 foot bait cast rod. Okay, another thing for the month of September into October is the pencil poppers. This is a pencil popper, guys. Pencil popper, if you're not familiar with it, it's very well known like on the East Coast. All you guys that have the blueback herring lakes are very familiar with it. If you don't fish blueback herring lakes, maybe you're not too familiar with the pencil popper, but it walks like a spook. It sort of walks like that, yet it spits water a little bit. It's got that concave head on it there. So it comes through the water just like a wounded bait, some type of a wounded bait fish. And the pencil popper is really good for fishing open water with it during the fall time of the year on low light days. So easiest way to catch them on a pencil popper, guys, is get out there like in late September, early October, get out on any type of a main lake or secondary point. The flatter the better. It can be gravel, clay, rock, whatever, but they like to get on those long flat points that run way out in the lake. and take this pencil popper, cast a mile, throw it out there and just work it just like a Zara spook. You know, keep it coming, sort of like a medium fast retrieve. And it's super loud, guys. It's super noisy. It's got a big knocker in it, spits a lot of water, and it'll pull fish up from a great distance. That's why the pencil popper is really good on cloudy, overcast days, especially days that don't have much wind and you have clear water. Perfect condition for this would be like last part of September, first part of October, water visibility, 4 to 6 foot clarity, cloudy day with not much wind. They will hammer the pencil popper in that situation, especially if you got spotted bass in the lake. Okay, about the same time frame, guys, the whole month of October, there's two baits that work really good hand in hand. One is a walking topwater. This is a Megabass Diamante, just like a spook, and then some type of a wake bait. This is just an old redfin here. Now, these are really, really good baits during the month of October, again, if you have the right conditions. If you have clear water, water visibility over 3.5 or 4 foot, and you have a day that does not have much wind and overcast conditions, which you do have in the fall time of the year, these are my two favorite lures to fish by far. And based upon the wind is how I dictate these two. If I don't have any wind whatsoever, like if it's calm out there, get you one of these red fins here, guys, or any type of a wake bait, and throw this thing out on just any type of rocky bank or point, flat point, steep point, maybe next to a boat dock. It doesn't really matter, but just throw this thing out there and just slow reel it, just like that through the water, slow reeling it. And as you're reeling this thing, it throws a V behind it, like a wake. And that's why the wake bait is good on a glass smooth day, because you can see that wake going out for a long distance. And in that clear water, a very subtle bait that moving really slow across the water like that, those fish will come up and hammer it. I'm gonna guess, I'll go out on a limb to say this. If I had one bait, if you said, Randy, you can have one topwater bait to fish, and if you can catch them on one topwater bait, what would it be? It would be a wake bait. A wake bait is so fun to fish because the strike varies. Sometimes they will come up and just annihilate the thing, and other times they come up and just suck it in. But just throw it out there, guys. It's really easy to do. Put it on like 12-pound test monofilament line, 6.5 foot bait cast rod. Throw it out there. Point the rod tip straight at the bait and just slow crank it. Just crank it just fast enough to get it wobbling through the water like that. You can't cover a lot of water with it. That's why you have to have this. You have to have the clear water. The cleaner water, the better. I mean, it can't get too clear for a wake bait. So personally, I like to have at least 6 foot of clarity. And like I said, if you can isolate the fish around some type of a target, like off the end of the point or on a dock or a bridge pier, all the much better with that. And then in the same situation, the walking topwater is going to catch them in the exact same scenario, but it'll produce better if you have a little bit of wind. So say you got clear water, overcast conditions, month of October, water temperature starting to drop a little bit. You can take a walking topwater like the Diamante or Super Spook or something and just fan cast all over those points and catch a lot of fish doing that. Another way that I catch a lot of fish in October on a walking bait like this is paralleling main lake bluffs. If you have clear water, just get on those bluffs, especially if they got some shade off them, make a long cast down that bluff and just work it down that bluff. And finally, guys, my late season bait, my favorite late season fall bait, now this is usually November, December, is a big buzzbait, a big buzzbait. This is the Megabass Jamaican boa. Sucker's probably 7 inches long at least, got a big blade on it, a noisy, obnoxious buzzbait. But guys, when that water temperature starts to drop down in the upper 50s or in the 60s, those fish will get right up on the bank and you can catch them really good fish on a buzzbait. And it's the nastier days, the better. It's like if I could give you one piece of advice, I don't care if it's snowing or raining or whatever, as long as that water temperature is over about 55 degrees, or maybe even low 50s, if it's cooling down real quick, guys, just take this buzzbait, Jamaican boa, in black. Black's gonna be your best color, and just fish it down rocky banks. Just cover water with it, get on steeper channel banks. I have found on the buzzbait bite that time of year, it's all about getting on some type of a bank that has at least a 45-degree angle slope on it with rock on it. It can be a bluff bank, it can be a 60-degree angle bank, channel, any type of a channel swing or rock transitions are going to be a little bit better. Going back into a cove, if you've got some steep rock banks like that even go back into coves, it can be real good. But guys, I'm telling you, absolute killer in the fall time of the year. And if you have boat docks, throw this thing over the cables behind those boat docks in the fall time of the year. You can catch some toads doing that. I usually put the buzzbait on my flipping stick again with 20-25 pound test Seaguar and Vizex, so I can really pitch it and flip it and make long casts with it. But anyway, guys, that's my topwater lineup for the fall time of the year. Catch a bunch of good fish on those. Again, I'll link each one of these in my Tackle Warehouse link if you want to try them. So hope it helps you guys catch some good ones this fall, and we'll check in later.